The whistle blew like a gunshot in my chest, and the entire field froze. 50 pairs of eyes drilling into me as Coach Harlan's voice cracked the autumn air. "You're done, Whitaker. Pack your shit and get off my turf. We don't harbor freaks here." I stood there, cleats sinking into the mud of Willow Creek High's sacred grass, my helmet dangling from numb fingers, the taste of blood from my bitten lip mixing with the metallic tang of betrayal, because the boy I'd kissed in the locker room shadows last night, my best friend, my everything, was staring right at me. His face twisted not in shock, but in disgust. That was the moment my world shattered. Right there under the floodlights of rural Ohio, where Friday nights meant football and nothing else. I was Alex Whitaker, 17-year-old quarterback prodigy, the kid every scout whispered about, the one who'd led us to state semis last year with a cannon arm and a grin that could charm the devil. But secrets have a way of clawing out, especially when they're wrapped in stolen touches and whispered promises. Jake Harlan, Coach's golden boy son, had been my undoing. We'd started as rivals on the field, trading hits and trash talk, but off it, in the humid haze of summer practices, it turned into something electric, forbidden. Late nights in his truck, parked by the old quarry, hands fumbling with zippers and hearts racing faster than any sprint. "This is us against them," he'd murmur, his breath hot against my neck. "No one else matters." Until someone mattered more, his father's approval. The rumor mill churned overnight. Some asshole from the team had seen us, snapped a blurry photo on his phone, and by morning, it was gospel. Coach called an emergency huddle after practice. His face purple as a bruise, veins bulging like the Ohio River in flood. "This team's about brotherhood, Whitaker. Purity. You think you can poison that with your deviance?" The word landed like a blindside tackle, knocking the air from my lungs. Jake wouldn't meet my eyes, his shoulders hunched, cleats shifting like he was already running away. The team murmured, a low rumble of unease turning to outright jeers. "Fag!" someone hissed from the back. "Get out, queer!" It spread like wildfire, fueled by small-town fear and the kind of macho bullshit that passes for tradition in places like Willow Creek. I didn't fight it. What was there to say? He's lying? No, the truth was scrawled across my soul in indelible ink. I dropped my helmet, the thud echoing louder than the jeers, and walked off that field with my head high, even as tears burned tracks down my dirt-streaked face. Mom was waiting in her beat-up Chevy, chain-smoking Virginia Slims, her eyes red-rimmed from the calls she'd already fielded. Dad had split years ago, leaving us to fend off the whispers alone. But this was nuclear. "Pack light, baby," she said, voice cracking as we peeled out of the parking lot, the stadium shrinking in the rearview like a bad dream. We crashed at Aunt Lena's in Cleveland that night, a 2-hour drive that felt like exile. By dawn, the headlines in the local rag screamed, "Star QB booted in scandal. Team vows clean slate." School became a gauntlet. Lockers slammed in my face. Notes stuffed with slurs. Cafeteria trays, accidentally appended. Jake avoided me like the plague, but once, in the empty hallway after chem, he cornered me, his voice a venomous whisper. "You ruined everything, Alex. Dad's talking lawsuits. Just stay away." His eyes, those hazel pools I drowned in, were cold now, armored. I wanted to scream that he'd ruined me first, that his touch had been my anchor, but all I managed was a nod, swallowing the shards of my heart. I transferred out mid-semester, vanishing into the anonymity of city life, Mom scraping by on waitressing gigs while I buried myself in books and pickup games on cracked asphalt courts. Anywhere but a football field. Those first months blurred into a haze of rage and reinvention. Cleveland was a beast. Gritty, unforgiving, but alive in ways Willow Creek never dreamed. I found solace in the public library, devouring stories of outcasts who rose from ashes. Auden, Baldwin, the queer icons who'd carved paths through stone. And there was Marcus, the barista at the corner coffee shop with dreads down to his waist and a laugh that could thaw glaciers. He spotted my faded Willow Creek Letterman jacket one rainy afternoon and slid a free latte my way. Rough start, huh? Spill. Over steaming mugs, I unloaded the kiss, the kick, the kid gloves of small-town hypocrisy. Marcus listened, his dark eyes steady, then leaned in. That's not your ending, Alex. That's chapter 1. He was right. Football clawed back into my veins that spring, when I joined a ragtag urban league, dodging chain-link fences and hecklers who didn't know my scars. My arm hadn't forgotten how to throw lasers, and soon scouts from community colleges were sniffing around. I enrolled at Cuyahoga CC, buried the Willow Creek ghost under stats and scholarships, emerging 2 years later with a full ride to Ohio State. Buckeye Stadium was my coliseum. 60,000 roaring fans, none of whom gave a damn about my orientation as long as I delivered wins. I did. Freshman year, I redshirted, grinding in the weight room until my body was a weapon. Sophomore, I started threading needles through defenses like it was personal. By junior year, NFL whispers turned to shouts. I was all Big Ten, a Heisman dark horse, the kid from nowhere rewriting his narrative. But ghosts don't die easy. Jake haunted my dreams, his betrayal a thorn I couldn't extract. I'd see his face in crowds, hear his voice in the wind off the Scioto River. And then, senior year, the call came. Willow Creek High was hosting an alumni charity game. Proceeds for the new field house. Coach Harlan retiring after 30 years. Alex, son. The AD's voice crackled over the line, syrupy with false warmth. We'd be honored. Prodigal return and all that. Jake's playing too, semi-pro now, you know? My gut twisted. Honored? After they branded me? But something fiercer stirred. Not revenge, exactly, but reckoning. Tell them I'll be there, I said, hanging up before doubt could creep in. The drive back to Willow Creek was a descent into memory lane, cornfields blurring past like old film reels. Mom stayed in Cleveland, her arthritis flaring, but she squeezed my hand at the door. Make 'em see you, baby. The real you. The town hadn't changed. Same faded billboards, same one-stoplight drag, same whispers as I rolled into the motel in my rented Escalade. Reporters swarmed at the airport, but I stonewalled them, saving my words for the field. Practice day 1. The air hummed with tension. Alumni milled about, graying ex-jocks slapping backs, but eyes flicked to me like I was a live wire. Coach Harlan, thinner now, liver spots mapping his cheeks, approached with a handshake that felt like surrender. Water under the bridge, Whitaker. Glad you came. Jake was there, all right, broader in the shoulders, a semi-pro lineman for some indoor league, his uniform stretched tight. Our eyes locked across the turf, and time folded. 8 years in a heartbeat. He looked good, haunted maybe, but good. Alex, he said later, by the water cooler, voice rough as gravel. Didn't think you'd show. I shrugged, toweling sweat from my brow. Had to see if the field's still green. He shifted, uncomfortable, the old fire flickering behind regret. I was a kid, scared shitless. Dad. Your dad? I cut in, sharper than intended. Wasn't the one who ghosted me. Silence stretched, thick as Ohio humidity, until he muttered, I owe you an apology. 1,000. I wanted to hate him, to walk away clean, but the pull was magnetic, a tide I couldn't fight. The game loomed like a storm front, billed as Harlan's last stand. Legends versus locals. Tickets sold out in hours, the stands packed with faces from my nightmares. Taunters turned dads, cheerleaders now soccer moms. Marcus flew in for support, his presence a bomb, crashing at the motel and reminding me over greasy diner fries. This ain't about them, Alex. It's your victory lap. But victory felt fragile as I suited up in the locker room, the scent of Bengali and leather stirring ghosts. Jake clapped my shoulder on the way out. Play like you mean it. I nodded, the touch lingering like a promise. Kickoff cracked like thunder, the ball spiraling true into my hands. First drive, I scanned the defense. Familiar hulks, slower now but mean, and zipped a slant to an alum wide out for 20 yards. The crowd murmured, then cheered, tentative. Willow Creek blood runs deep. Talent forgives, if not forgets. But midway through the first quarter, it happened. A blitz from Jake's side, his gap wide open. He roared in, shoulder low, and I sidestepped, old instincts. planting the ball in his chest like a punctuation mark. He hit the turf with an oof, wind knocked out, and for a split second, the world narrowed to us two, gladiators in the dirt. "Still got it?" I panted, offering a hand. He took it, grip firm, eyes locking with something unspoken. "Sorry." "Yes." Halftime blurred in strategy huddles. Coach Harlan's gravelly pep talk laced with nostalgia. This field seen blood, sweat, and stories. Finished strong. I slipped out for air, finding Jake by the bleachers, nursing a Gatorade. That hit, I started, felt personal. He winced not from bruises. It was. Had to feel you again. God, Alex, I followed every snap. You're a legend. Laughter bubbled up, bittersweet. Legend? Try Survivor. He stepped closer, the floodlights casting halos. I loved you, you know? Still do in a fucked up way. Ruined us both. The confession hung, raw, and I bridged the gap, foreheads touching like old times. Then why? Fear, he whispered. But not anymore. Second half ignited. I orchestrated drives like symphonies, bootlegs, play actions, bombs that split seams. Score climbed, alumni pulling ahead 21-14, but the locals clawed back on a flea flicker I called on the fly. Jake anchored their line, sacking me once, clean and fair, earning a nod of respect. Then, fourth quarter, down by 3, 2 minutes left. The drive of my life. Snap, handoff fake, roll right, Jake crashing through, but I spun, lofting a rainbow to the end zone. Touchdown. Pandemonium. The stands erupted, not for the score, but the story. The kid they cast out, returning unbroken. Post-game. Confetti rained under the lights, handshakes flowing like beer at a tailgate. Coach Harlan pulled me aside, voice thick. Proud of you, son. Should have been then. Tears welled, unbidden. As forgiveness bloomed, tentative. Jake waited by the goalpost, the one where kids carved hearts in wet wood. Drinks? He asked, tentative. Marcus appeared, arms slung casual over my shoulders. Only if I'm invited. Laughter broke the ice. 3 of us walking off that field not as enemies, but echoes of what could heal. But stories don't end at the whistle. That night, over whiskey in a dive bar off Route 23, truths spilled like floodwaters. Jake had come out 2 years back, after a string of failed engagements and a breakdown that sidelined his semi-pro gig. Dad disowned me for a month, he admitted, staring into amber. Learned the hard way what you knew all along. Marcus shared his own scars, rejection in the Bronx, rebuilding through art and activism. Me? I confessed the hollow victories, the pro's glamour masking nights alone, wondering if redemption was just a highlight reel. It's not, Marcus said, hand on my knee. It's this, us messy and real. Dawn crept in with pink fingers over the corn, and we drove to the quarry. Our old haunt, now overgrown but eternal. Jake and I stood at the edge, water black as secrets below. Jump? He teased, echoing boyhood dares. Instead, we really talked, of futures untethered. He was coaching youth now, fighting the old poisons from within. Marcus pitched a podcast collab, Queer Athletes, Unfiltered. And me? The NFL draft loomed, but Willow Creek had cracked something open. A homecoming not of triumph, but truce. As the sun crested, I realized the hook that snagged me years ago wasn't the whistle or the slur, but the boy beside me, flawed and familiar. We'd been kicked off tracks we didn't choose, but together we charted new ones. Not perfect, not cinematic fade-out, but American as apple pie and second chances. Raw, resilient, alive with possibility. The draft came and went in a whirlwind of suits and spotlights, my name echoing through Radio City Music Hall. Alex Whitaker, to the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the 24th pick. Champagne corks popped in Mom's cramped Cleveland apartment. Marcus whooping like a fool while she dabbed tears with her apron. My boy's a Steeler, she beamed, hugging me fierce. Jake watched via FaceTime from Willow Creek, his grin wide but edged with something wistful. Black and gold suits you, he texted later. A gold heart emoji trailing like contrail. I saved it, a digital talisman against the grind ahead. Rookie camp was boot camp baptized in sweat and scrutiny. Vets hazing with welcome wagons of endless sprints. Coaches barking plays till my throat rawed. Pittsburgh embraced me quick. The Steel City, blue-collar heartbeat pulsing through rivers and mills. A far cry from Ohio's sleepy veins. Teammates ribbed my Buckeye betrayal. But when I aired out 60-yarders in scrimmages, respect followed. Off-field, Marcus relocated, crashing my Southside loft, turning it into a haven of vinyl records and vegan takeout. Your wingman in the steel curtain, he'd quip, dragging me to queer nights at Cat TiVo, where bass thumped and bodies moved free, no shadows lurking. But Jake lingered like a half-healed bruise. We texted sporadically, game recaps, dad jokes, the occasional voice note that hit too close. Watched your Monday Night Lights. Killed it, man. Missed the Corey chats. I'd reply with highlights, deflecting the pull. Betrayal's scar tissue toughens, but it itches. Then, week 5. A bye week aligned with Willow Creek's homecoming. Come back, his message pinged. Not for the game. For us. Heart hammering. I booked a flight. Marcus waving me off. Don't ghost yourself, Alex. Go feel it. The town glowed under harvest moon. Bonfires dotting fields like stars fallen early. Jake met me at the motel. Truck idling. Flannel unbuttoned just enough to tease. Drive. We hit back roads. Radio low on Springsteen. Winding to the quarry's rim. Parking, we climbed out. Gravel crunching under boots. The air crisp with leaf rot and possibility. Been thinking, he started, leaning on the tailgate. About that apology. Words ain't enough. Across arms, guarding. Then what is? He pulled a thermos, hot cider, spiked with bourbon, our old ritual. Sipping, stories flowed. His coaching gig, wrangling teen egos. My rookie hazing, bonding over shared freak labels. Moonlight silvered the water below, and vulnerability cracked open. I lied to myself for years, Jake confessed, voice low. Told everyone, and me, you were a phase. But losing you, that was the real kick in the teeth. Tears tracked his stubble, mirroring mine. Hurt me too, Jake. Deep. He nodded, closing the gap, hands framing my face gentle. Our kiss was tentative, then torrent, years pent, pouring out in salt and heat. Not frantic, but fervent. A reclamation under indifferent stars. We broke apart breathless, foreheads pressed. Slow, he murmured. Yeah, I agreed. But sure. Homecoming weekend blurred into a tapestry of reconciliation. I spoke at the pep rally, unscripted, raw. This field kicked me once, for being different. But it taught me strength comes from scars, not spotlights. The crowd hushed, then thundered applause, kids in the bleachers nodding fierce. Jake's team won, him barking plays from the sidelines, and post-game, we mingled, old tormentors now awkward uncles, offering beers and no hard feelings. One, Tommy Reese, the photo snapper, mumbled sorry, eyes downcast. Water under, I said, clapping his back, the words tasting like freedom. Marcus joined via video later, toasting from Pittsburgh. Y'all look cozy. Don't fuck it up, Harlan. Laughter eased the miles. But cracks showed by Sunday brunch at the diner, where locals shot sidelong glances, murmurs of Steeler boys back with him. Jake tensed, fork midway. Ignore him, easier said. Driving to the airport. A pickup swerved close, slinging slurs from rolled down windows. Go back to the city, ferries. Jake's knuckles whitened on the wheel, but I laid a hand on his thigh. Let 'em rot. We fly higher. Pittsburgh reclaimed me Monday, but Jake embedded deeper. A weekend warrior, flying in for Steelers games, crashing on my couch turned bed. Romance rekindled cautious. Movie nights with his head on my chest, trail runs along the Allegheny where we'd race and collapse laughing. He met the team at a tailgate. AB's brash charm disarming him quick. Quarterback's boyfriend? You handle that ego. Jake grinned. Practice. Marcus played third wheel benevolent, plotting double dates that dissolved into all-night talks on queerness in sports, the closet's casualties. Then betrayal's echo struck. Week 12. Against the Browns, a hit from their linebacker. Willow Creek alum, ironically, jarred my shoulder loose, sidelining me 3 weeks. Media frenzy. Whitaker down. Is the golden arm cracked? In the haze of painkillers and PT, Jake drove through a blizzard, arriving with mom's chicken soup and his steady presence. "You're unbreakable," he soothed, icing my sling. But doubt crept. Was this fair? Dragging him into my chaos. The spotlight's glare on our story? What if I flame out? I voiced one night, staring at ceiling fans. He traced my jaw. Then we rebuild. Together. Rehab was hell, endless reps, the mirror mocking atrophied muscle. Marcus pushed playlists of fierce anthems. Jake sent daily videos of his kids drilling routes, captioned "Your Legacy." By playoffs, I suited up backup, nerves electric. Steelers clinched wild card. And in the locker room post-win, Jake crushed me in a bear hug. Fucking warrior. Intimacy deepened off-field. Nights tangled in sheets. Not rushing but reveling. Bodies mapping forgiveness. "Love this," he'd whisper post-climax. "You whole." Vulnerability's gift. Trust. Fragile but fierce. Spring brought curveballs. NFL Combine buzzed. But Willow Creek called again. Fundraiser gala for the field's LGBTQ+ alliance. Jake spearheading. "Your voice," he urged. I hesitated. Old wounds throbbing. But Marcus nudged. "Own the narrative, babe." Flying in, the banquet hall shimmered. Tables laden with Pyrrhus and pride flags. My speech landed like a Hail Mary. Tales of exile and return. The humanity beneath helmets. Applause swelled. Tears flowing free. Coach Harlan, frail now, gripped my hand. "You were always the heart, son." But climax brewed unseen. Post-gala, Jake pulled me aside, face ashen. "Dad's sick. Cancer. Won't take treatment. Says he's ready to meet his maker clean." Gut punch. The man who'd banished me now withered. Regrets etching his frame. "He wants to see you," Jake added, voice breaking. I balked. Forgiveness one thing, this, but love for Jake propelled. Hospital visit, sterile air thick with beeps. Harlan lay skeletal, eyes milky. "Whitaker," he rasped. "I failed you. Both my boys." Words tumbled. Apologies, admissions of his own buried pains. A youth stifled by 50s machismo. "Make it right," I said, squeezing his claw hand. "For them." He nodded, tears carving paths. Proud. Harlan passed 2 weeks later. Funeral a torrent of black suits and blacker clouds. Eulogy fell to Jake. Voice steady till it cracked. He learned late, but he learned. Graveside, we stood shoulder to shoulder. Rain mingling with ours. "This changes us?" I asked later, toweling in the motel. Jake pulled me close. "Hardens the good parts." Summer training camp loomed. But first, a detour. Marcus's art show in NYC, celebrating queer icons. We flew east, Jake wide-eyed at galleries, me basking in his awe. One piece, a silhouette of 2 figures against stadium lights, titled "Reclaimed Field," mirrored us uncanny. "That's us," he breathed. Nightcap at a rooftop bar, skyline glittering. He dropped to one knee. Not ring, but promise. "Build with me, Alex? Not just weekends." Heart soaring. I yanked him up. "Hell yes." Pittsburgh fall gilded golden, Super Bowl run materializing. My arm a metronome of precision. Jake relocated partial, coaching remote. Our loft a nest of routines. Pre-dawn jogs, post-practice massages. Betrayal's ghost, exorcised in therapy sessions. Jake and I unpacking crates of what if. Humanistic truth. Healing's not linear, but shared. It lightens. Super Bowl Sunday dawned crisp in Atlanta. Dome humming electric. Steelers versus Chiefs. Stakes stratospheric. Halftime tied. Mahomes a demon. Our D bent but held. Fourth quarter. Down 4. 1:50 left. The drive. Snap, I dropped back, vision tunneling. Pressure surged. I scrambled. Jake's training echoes in my ears. Feel the pocket. Trust it. Bullet to the corner, TD. Uproar. Confetti blizzard, Lombardi lifted high. On field, amid embraces, Jake breached security, medal slung round his neck by me. My MVP. Champions parade snaked Pittsburgh streets, rivers of gold and black. From the float, scanning throngs, I spotted signs. Whitaker's Way, pride in play. Willow Creek contingent cheered loudest. Mom, Marcus, Jake's team kids waving flags. That night, rooftop party with the city at our feet. Jake clinked bottles. From kicked off to this, we did it. I pulled him into the fray, dance floor pulsing. Romance's arc. Not fairy tale, but forged, dramatic detours. Thrilling triumphs, emotional anchors, romantic rediscoveries, humanistic heart. Years later, retired jersey in the hall, coaching at Pitt with Jake as DC. Our story's the seminar staple, different ain't deficit. Kids listen wide-eyed, and in quiet moments, quarry side or stadium hush, I whisper thanks. To scars, to saviors, to the boy who broke and rebuilt me. Life's no script, but damn if it ain't a hell of a play. Retirement crept like autumn fog. Not a crash but a gradual dimming. Shoulder barking after the 28th season. Stats dipping from sublime to solid. At 32, the league's a young man's coliseum. I bowed out graceful, mic in hand at the presser. Grateful for the gridiron gospel. Now passing the torch. Accolades piled. Hall whispers endorsements that Whitaker Foundation for LGBTQ plus youth sports, funneling grants to kids like me. Kicked but kicking back. Jake and I settled deeper into Pittsburgh's rhythm. Our Squirrel Hill brownstone, a sanctuary of exposed brick and bay windows overlooking Frick Park. Mornings, coffee black, him scrolling coaching clinics, me plotting foundation expansions. Afternoons, trails laced with leaves, hands brushing casual. Love's quiet hum. Marcus, ever the spark, opened a gallery downtown. Queer canvas. Walls alive with athlete portraits, ours among them. Oil on canvas. Us mid-embrace under goalposts, titled Interception of Hearts. But drama simmers eternal. Spring 29, Willow Creek scandal erupted. A new coach, fresh from Bible college, echoing Harlan's old playbook. Benching a star for moral lapses. Code for coming out. Jake's blood boiled. He'd poured soul into that program post-dad, turning it inclusive. We go back, he declared over dinner, fork stabbing pasta. I paused, fork midway, ghost stirring. Stir the pot. Right the wrong. Marcus, FaceTiming from a Paris res, chimed, pot's already bubbling. Y'all are the lid lifters. Road trip south. Our SUV stuffed with protest signs and hope. Willow Creek simmered. Protests at the gates. Parents divided. Kids caught crossfire. We rallied at the quarry first. Private pep. This ain't personal, I said, arm round Jake. It's legacy. He nodded. Fierce. Ours. Town hall crackled. Standing room only. Air thick with cologne and contempt. New coach Hargrove blustered from the dais. Standards protect our boys. Jake rose, voice steel. Standards? We're scapegoats. I was that boy once. Lost a brother to it. Murmurs rippled. Eyes turned to me as I stood. Kicked off for loving different. Built an empire from exile. Don't doom your sons to my detours. Climax crested when the kid, 17, lanky QB with my old fire, testified, Sir, I can't hide, and win, I can't without him. Hargrove faltered, sweat beading. Board voted 4-3, reinstating. Cheers erupted, hugs haphazard. But outside, backlash brewed. Tires slashed on our truck. Anonymous texts. Go home, groomers. Jake's jaw set driving north. Worth it. I squeezed his thigh. Every scar. Pittsburgh welcomed bruised but buoyant. Foundation boomed, camps in 10 states, scholarships blooming. Romance deepened domestic. Jake proposing proper over Corey picnic. Ring simple gold band etched with coordinates of that first kiss. Wedding small, June 30. Backyard vows under dogwoods. Mom officiating tearful, Marcus best man with roasts roasting. From wingman to witness. May your tackles be tender. Vows exchanged. In chaos and calm, I choose you. Rings slid, ceiling. Honeymooned low-key, Amalfi Coast. Cliffs dropping to azure, pasta al dente and Aperol spritzes. Nights. Tangled in white linens, sea whispering approvals. Husband. Jake tested one dawn, balcony coffee in hand. Grin split my face. Yeah, sounds right. Back stateside, life layered. Me adjuncting sports psych at Pitt, Jake climbing AD ranks, our merged families. His mom thawing slow, my aunts doting. Gathering for Thanksgivings raucous with stories. Yet conflict coils. 32. A documentary crew pitched. Gridiron Outlaws, Whitaker and Harlan. Flattering but invasive cameras probing Jake's closet years, my exile raw. Exploit or expose? Marcus debated over beers. Jake wary. Opens wounds. I pushed. Heals others. Filming marathon, interviews in Willow Creek, Quarry Recreations, sit-downs spilling therapy truths. Climax cut. Leaked clip of Hargrove's successor admitting purges, sparking national uproar. Premiere at Tribeca. Standing O. Post-screening Q&A. A teen asked, worth the pain? Jake fielded arm round me. Pain's the price of progress. Love's the profit. Betrayal's shadow? Faded but flickered. Jake's promotion meant travel. Scouting recruits coast to coast. One Chicago layover. Phone silence stretched. Paranoia nipped. Old insecurities. Confronted gentle over FaceTime. Just tired, babe. Miss our bed. Vulnerabilities vow. Trust rebuilt daily. Marcus called it. Y'all's the blueprint messy masterpiece. Humanism's harvest. Foundation's milestone gala. 35. Black tie under Heinz Field lights. Honorees. That Willow Creek QB, now college starter, outing his coach publicly. Speechifying, I scanned the crowd. Faces from fractures now friends. Jake beside, hand in mine. We started this. Post-toast, slow dance to Coltrane, whispers warm. Forever's looking good. Years folded gentle. Kids came via surrogacy. Twins, Riley and Jordan, 38, chaos incarnate. Tiny cleats, bedtime tales of daddy's big game. Jake coached Pee-wee. Me narrating ESPN gigs. Voice steady on airwaves. Willow Creek visits annual. Homecomings where grandkids chase fireflies on that sacred turf. Old age ambled. Grayer temples, slower sprints, but holds tighter. Quarry bench, sunset gilding. Jake's head on my shoulder. Best play. I tease. Calling you mine. He chuckles. Deep. Touchdown. Life's narrative, dramatic dives. Thrilling turns, emotional ebbs. Romantic rebounds. Humanistic horizon. Proves. Different don't diminish. It defines. And in that American expanse, from kicked-off kid to star eternal, we shine. Aging's a sly thief, stealing stamina in nickels and dimes, but gifting perspective in pounds. By 45, the twins hit double digits, whirlwinds of soccer cleats and science fairs, demanding tell the story again. Dad. The one where you threw the ball to win the whole world. Jake and I tag team, embellishing for drama. The blizzard drive, the quarry kiss, the Super Bowl scramble rendered epic. Mom, silver-haired sentinel in her Cleveland bungalow, hosted holidays, her table groaning under turkey and tolerance, toasting. To my champions. Pittsburgh evolved around us. New stadium gleaming, Foundation HQ a beacon in the Hill District, murals of queer athletes adorning walls. Marcus thrived, gallery franchise to LA. His husband a choreographer weaving our tale into ballets. Jocks leaping from shadows to light. We'd fly west for premieres. Riley and Jordan wide-eyed at spotlights. Is that you dancing, Pop? Jake'd ruffle their hair. Nah, that's Dad's moves. Conflict resurfaced subtle, insidious. Health's hammer. Jake's knee, battered from years blocking, swelled post a charity game. MRI grim. Arthritis advanced, surgery looming. Bench me? He joked in pre-op, gown ridiculous. I gripped his hand. Sidelines temporary. Your starter for life. Recovery dragged. crutches clomping our halls, twins tiptoeing with Lego forts for distraction. Nights, I'd read aloud. Ginsberg, his queer fire fueling Jake's fire, keeps me fighting. PT marathons, me spotting squats, whispering encouragements. One more rep, warrior. He emerged stronger, limping less, but the scare etched deeper lines. Memento mori, urging us seize sundials. Romance renewed in margins. Anniversary getaway to the Keys, just us, hammocks swaying to waves. No kids, no cruise, raw reconnection. Sunset sails, his hand in mine. 40 years since that field. Feel like yesterday. I traced his wedding band, worn smooth. Better. Seasoned. Evenings. Chess on the porch, debates on foundation expansions, youth camps in the South, braving Bible Belt thorns. Push, I'd urge. Progress don't pause. Climax brewed familial. Riley, our firebrand, came out junior year. Casual over breakfast. Girls are cool, but it's Theo from bio. Fork paused midair, Jake's eyes misting. I swallowed lump, proud kid. Doors open, but school whispers swirled. Coach sidelining him for focus issues. Echoes deafening. We rallied, Jake storming practices, me lawyering with the district foundation lawyers pro bono. Town hall redux, but this time, Willow Creek alums flanked us. Testimonies thundering. Don't repeat history. Victory bittersweet. Settlement sensitivity training. But Riley's resilience bloomed. Theo welcomed at our table. First crushes navigated with care. Betrayals variant. Doubts whisper. Post-scandal, a board member. Old school donor. Resigned, citing agenda creep. Jake fumed in strategy sessions. Our agenda's equity. I mediated. Cooler head. Wins over wars. But privately, fractures showed. Jake retreating to garage tinkering, me overworking metrics. Marcus mediated over wine. Y'all communicate like pros. Use it. Date night enforced. Italian bistro. Candlelight confessions. Scared of fading, Jake admitted. You're eternal, I countered. Foot hooking his under table. Rebound. Vow renewal. Backyard simple. Twins officiating giggly. Humanistic pivot. Harlan legacy honored. Willow Creek renamed the field. Whitaker Harlan Memorial. Plaque gleaming. Where difference drives victory. Dedication ceremony. 50. Rain held off for speeches. Jake's voice carrying. Dad would have hated this. Good thing we loved him anyway. Laughter cathartic. Tears tonic. Post-ribbon. Old teammates clapped backs. You boys did good. Grandkids arrived 52. Riley's twins. Echoes named Alex Jr. and Harper. Chaos compounded. Diaper dashes. Story hours doubled. Jake. Pop supreme. Wheeled them parkside. Regaling with the big throw. I join, harmonizing histories. Health's toll mounted. My ticker fluttering irregular. Pacemaker 55. Jake's hip replaced same year. Matching scars. He quipped post-op. PT duo. Pushing wheelchairs turned walkers. Motto. No quit. Documentary sequel pitched. Outlaws encore. We greenlit. Filming frielier but fiercer. Quarry confessions aged. Wisdom distilled. Premiere streamed global. Chats flooding. Inspired my coming out. One night, twins cuddled couchside. Your story saved us, dads. Jake teared. Nah, you saved ours. Twilight deepened. 60 Foundation Gala virtual hybrid. Me zooming from bed, Jake bedside anchor. Legacy speech slurred slight, but soul shone. From kicked to crowned. Loves the league. Applause echoed digital. Post. Morphine haze. Jake curled close. Best teammate. I squeezed feeble. MVP. Final drive. Hospice hush. Family orbiting. Jake last at bedside. Our song Springsteen's Thunder Road. Low on speakers. Alex. He rasped. Hand clasped. Wait at the quarry? Grin faint. First throw's yours. Light dimmed. But love lingered. Dramatic to dust. Thrilling to tranquility. Emotional odyssey. Romantic requiem. Humanistic hymn. We played full, field eternal. Epilogue whispers. Foundation thrives, fields renamed nationwide. Kids carry torches, stories spun anew. In Willow Creek winds, a voice. Different? That's the star play. The quarry's edge called eternal. A sentinel stone in my soul's geography. Even as legs betrayed and maps blurred. Post Jake, 62. The house echoed hollow. Twins transplanted nearby, filling Sundays with grandkid gaggles. But nights stretched solo, vinyl spinning ghosts. Marcus, graying gracefully, weekly check-ins. Bereavement books bullshit. Feel it, then feed it. I did journaling fever. Pages pouring quarterback calls turned life plays. The whistles wound, the returns rush, the rings resolve. Foundation helm passed to Riley, his vision bolder, global camps, VR sims for remote recruits. Your blueprint, Dad, he'd say, blueprints spread kitchen table. I'd nod, pride pricking. Build bigger. Harper, artist inclined, illustrated the sequel doc sequel. Encore's Echo, premiering Sundance 64. My cameo frail but feisty voiceover narrating. Loss ain't last down. It's launch. Drama domestic. Health's cascade. Pacemaker glitches 65. Hospital a revolving door. Docs debating dialysis. Twins tag-teamed. Jordan's bedside playlists. Our old game anthems. Riley's pep. Huddle up, Dad. One more quarter. Grandkids crayon cards. Super grandpa. Laughter laced 4 drips. Romance's remnant. Memories mined deep. Jake's letters unearthed. Tucked attic boxes. Scrawled post-proposal. You're my audible, Alex. Always adjust with you. Read aloud to empty rooms. Tears tonic. New sparks? Nah, love's not lottery. Once jackpot, it imprints. But community coursed. Queer elders circle at the JCC. Stories swapped over strudel. Widower's wisdom. Forging fraternal fire. Climax quiet. Willow Creek Centennial. 68. Invitation gilded. Keynote. Legend. Frail flight. Wheelchair ramp to podium. Crowd hushed. Thousands. Faces familiar faded. Mic gripped gnarled. Kicked off this turf 60 years back. For difference. Return star. But truth? We're all prodigals. Fields forgive. Hearts heal. Thunderous. Tears torrent. Jake's plaque unveiled beside mine. Entwined. Post-ceremony. Quarry pilgrimage. Solo now. Your throw. I whispered to wind. Echo rustle affirmative. Betrayal banished. Old foes fate me. Tommy Reese, reformed, toasting. You won, Whitaker. Grace and all. Forgiveness full circle, humanistic halo. 70 dawn dim, vision veiling, steps shuffle. Hospice elected home, view of park where Jake and I'd raced. Twins rotated vigils. Marcus marathon streaming classics. Field of dreams. Ironic nod. Final huddle. Family chorus. Hands layered. Love you, Dad. Riley choked. Proud. I rasped. All of you. Fade to floodlights. Whistle blows distant. Field verdant. Jake waiting. Helmet under arm. Ready for the encore? Arm cocks, ball spirals true. Touchdown timeless. Story seals. Kicked off, came back. Starred eternal. American epic. Dramatic descent. Thrilling ascent. Emotional equator. Romantic river. Humanistic horizon. Play on. In the stands of forever. Cheers cascade. Different. Darling. That's the dawn.